Finally, a break in the weather means we have a very small window to do some renovation work on this back lawn. So what we're going to do today is we're going to give a really harsh scarify because we've got the weather and the rain and the temperatures to get away with it. So let's crack on. All right, so we'll just have our customary walk over now. A lot of you will be thinking, my God, I wish mine looked like this. But I'm not happy, so it's going to get the treatment. So what we're going to do is we're going to give it a harsh scarify, but also we're really going to scalp this top growth all the way back to the crown. Didn't go as deep as I'd like to at Britain's Best Lawn last week. Kind of chickened out a little bit, but here we've just got the option to. So if we just have a closer look, we can see it's quite long and it's quite leggy. And it doesn't spring back as well as I'd like, so that means it's getting too spongy. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut it with the rotary first just to get rid of some of this bulk, and then we'll get on with the sterling with the cylinder and we'll really go to town on it, and you'll really see what I mean when I show you the contrast halfway through. So without further ado, let's get on with it because time is pressing and I want to get on with it. Just before I get on with it as well, just show you this corner. If you remember when we did the video for the King's coronation, this area was quite bare. Still is a little bit, but in the main it came back very well. Not done much with it this year, to be honest with you. That getting trashed after the party or during the party just set my motivation back a little bit, and it took forever to come back. And I know we did a bit of renovation work about 8-9 weeks ago now, but it just hasn't hit those heights that it normally does. So we're going to give it one last go, and I really think it was to do with because it was just so hot and it just was so hard to keep wet that it just didn't fulfill its full potential. So now we've got the cooler temperatures but a lot more water, I really think we can get this lawn looking good for the rest of the year. So let's crack on. Okay, so the first job is to cut it with the rotary mower. We're doing this because if we were just to go on with the cylinder straight away at the height that I want to go at, we're just going to be emptying the grass box every other stripe or even every stripe. So we're just going to go on with this because it's suction, because it's creating a vacuum with the rotary action. It's going to pick up a lot more and it's going to squidge it into the box. Whereas with the cylinder, we're just relying on the propulsion of the cylinder blade to throw it into the grass box, and we don't get any kind of compaction in the box. It just all spills out. So that's why I go on with this first. Like I said, number two, if we go on with number one, it'll be the same thing. We'll just be emptying it every 2 seconds. So let's give it a go. And we're off. Yeah, I think that'll do. Okay, so I've just done the one pass. I've still got a little bit to do on the edge of the lawn, another 5 stripes. But you can see good suction created by the mower. As I did a video in December when I cleaned the mower, we get this good suction on the mower because we've got a really good clean bag which allows the air to pass through. Without that air passing through, we don't have any suction. So it's always a good idea to keep your bag clean, and you just do this with a power washer. Got a good durable bag on the hater so it doesn't damage it. But you can just see how tightly packed that is. Loads of grass come off of there, and that's just on 2. I'm half tempted just to go over it on 1 as well, because there's still quite a lot of grass on there, and I still think the cylinder will not struggle to cope with that, but because it's a battery one, we've not got the same power as we would with the petrol, and I've only got 2 bars on the battery, so I don't want to waste it because I've got to cut the front as well. So undecided yet. It's on charge just over there. You can just see it in the distance. I forgot to charge it. Still not got anything done, so you have to forgive me. But yeah, so we'll go over with the rotary again on 1, and then we'll get the sterling out and we'll see how it performs, cutting the grass really short. All right, that was the hater cut on number 1. It was a bit of a struggle, to be honest. It was struggling in some areas, so I had to tilt it back a little bit just to enable it to get through, because it was nearly conking out. It's so long and thick. Now, the question is, why is it so long? It's because I've lost control of it, just because of the weather, because every time I've been, it's been absolutely chucking it down. So all I've done is cut it with a hater for the last 3 or 4 weeks. So just on 3, so every time we come, we don't cut it as short. It grows a little bit from the base as well, and you end up cutting it a bit longer and a bit longer, and that's where we're at now. So even though we've just cut it on 1, this is the height we want to be at. But if I was just to leave it like this, it would just go white and awful. So we need to do a total factory reset. So now we'll get the scarifier out, give it a double pass with the scarifier, another cut on 1, and this time it should be able to coat because we've got rid of the bulk, and then we'll go on with the cylinder, take off to our final level, and then we'll get some products on. Right, a bit of Bob Ross coming on, so I think he would say at this point, all right. So if we have a look up close, we've made some real good inroads into this lawn. You can see now we've got some nice screws running through. A bit more so over here, but it's a bit thinner. So what I'm going to do in this area, I was going to do that anyway, but I'm just going to throw a bit of seed. And when I say a bit of seed, I mean a bit of seed. So I'm going to throw that's like 2 square meters. So over there you'll need like 70 grams, not 7 kilos. So you don't get the whole bag and just go, yeah, I'll put it on there. Put it on, yeah, nice and thick. We've got a nice thick lawn, yep. That's just a thick thing to do. So we don't do that, just a little bit. Funny story about Bob Ross, actually. Well, it's not about Bob Ross. It's just some friend of mine who's in America at the moment sent me a picture of a Bob Ross positive energy drink on the shelf, like next to Red Bull and that. I just thought it was very funny because I just love to know what's in it and what colour it is. Is it like a alizarin crimson or phthalo blue? Who knows? Or what other colours does he do? Titanium white. That's it, titanium white. I have actually got all his kit, funnily enough, and I have done some pictures of his over the years, just on my own take on some of his work, some of my own work. So I'll just upload those now. I know you won't believe that they're mine, but they really are. As you can see, they're my signature in the bottom right corner. I did those when my daughter was in the womb, and I was kind of banished. I set up a little attic studio, so I used to go up there out of the way and keep out the wife's way. And I did my best work up there, and I set up my Amiga 500 up there as well, which, funnily enough, I retrieved after 11 years, 12 years, no, 10 years, 10 years it is, 10 years this year. I retrieved it, and it still works, believe it or not. So I've been playing Kickoff 2 and Championship Manager 94, so just having a bit of nostalgia at the moment. Some call it a midlife crisis, I just call it just kind of revisiting my youth. So there you go. So anyway, we can get a good idea of how the lawn looks now. Looking really good. I'm really impressed. Even though it looks a bit of a mess, you might think, to me, it looks great, and I know I've done a good job. So what we're going to do now is, I think, again, just like at Britain's Best Lawn, former Britain's Best Lawn, I think we've just got enough room in the mower there just to get on there straight away on number 2. If not, we'll just rake it. It's a smaller area, so we should be all right. Even with the rake, it's not too much hardship there, but hopefully we can just get on with the mower because it's easy. Okay, so a double pass was needed to pick all the grass up. Probably could have got away with the 1, but I wasn't confident that the Sterling, with it having the cylinder attachment in, would pick up what was left, so I just went over it again. It's nice and firm, so no problem. Left a few worm casts, but we'll deal with those later on. What I wanted to do now is, just before I go on with the Sterling, let's just see where we are in terms of height of cut. So I've got the alert gauge out so we can see. This is just so that I know where to set the sterling at, because it's just another way to, instead of going on and just trying it out and going like, oh, do I need to go around once then, oh, I need to lower it. Let's see how accurate this is. So at the minute there it's showing, it's difficult with the sun, but it's showing 20. So if I go on at 20 mil with the sterling, I shouldn't take anything off. So if this is to be believed, then I should have the confidence to go below 20 and actually take something off rather than going on at 23 and not actually removing anything. So we'll give it a go anyway, let's see. Okay, so let's just drop it down. We're going anti-clockwise to go down, and we're going off this side here for the cylinder cassette. So we're on 20 there. So if I just go in a bit closer, we can get it a bit better. So I'll go on at 19, because the gauge said we were at 20. So if I go on at 19, then we should take some off. Will we take enough off? I don't know, but that's not what this is about. This is just seeing how accurate the mower is and how accurate the gauge is to give us an idea. If we need to go down a bit more, we can. So let's just not be in a position where we take too much off in one go. Because I remember 2 years ago, even though it turned out great, I scalped it, but I wasn't supposed to take that much off. But I did, and it was like, oh God, I've got to carry on now. Got away with it in the end, came back absolutely, and actually we had the best winter lawn ever. So I think doing it that way is the best way, but it just doesn't look good. But we're not going to do that today just because it's too aggressive, and I'd probably get in trouble. So we'll just do, we'll hack it back, but just leave a bit of green, not a cricket wicket. Alright, I've got the blades engaged. We're on 19 mil, let's see if we take anything off. Oh yeah, we're taking some off there, you can see how much, I'm not sure. So we can see a distinction there between the two lines, but I still want to take a little bit more off. So let's drop it down to 15, and I think that should do it. $15 mil, let's have another go. Got to do 2 hands there. Wish me luck. Yeah, that's more like it. And then what we'll do is we'll address those worm casts later on. Okay, so it's looking a lot better, even though it's looking 10 times worse than it was when I turned up. It's looking a lot better because I know it's going to be better in the coming week. So remember, we have to have that 2 weeks pain for 2 months gain. What I'm not happy with is this area over here. As you can see now, it doesn't get any light now, and it's gone 5 o'clock. So it doesn't get any light now until tomorrow, and even then it hardly gets anything now because of the bar over there. And then we've got this pleached hedge, which is just so big now, it doesn't let anything in during the day. Was when it was really small, it used to get a bit more light here. So we are battling the elements here, and it gets very wet here. I don't know why, there's a drain and everything. But I did do some work in the winter where I drove my crowbar in and just created a bit of room, and I put some rubber crumb in there. So that's definitely improved that, because it doesn't hold, like when it chucks it down sometimes, the water can actually be at the top of the sleeper, just in this corner. We've not had that this year, so I think what I did has worked. But like I said, with that lack of sunlight, we're just battling against the inevitable, which is the grass not doing very well. So what we'll do is we'll get our fork and our seed, 70 grams, sprinkle it on, ruffle it up a little bit, just so we've got a bit of a tilth going on, and then that's it. Just leave it to develop, and hopefully it'll take, and we'll get this corner looking spot on. Okay, so as I said before, we've got our worm cast squashed ones here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to remove that squashed bit just to ruffle it up a little bit underneath. Now that area there, we literally need 2 or 3 grains, that's it. I'm literally just putting 2 or 3 in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 have gone in there, literally just for belt and braces, and we'll just kind of crumble that up best we can, and we'll just put that back, and then what that'll do is that'll grow without being too thick, so time to get on with the rest. Okay, so I've just sprinkled over there 70 grams, you can see that there. Not overdone it, don't need to, because we've got the existing lawn there and we just want to fill those areas in nice, so we don't need to put loads down. Remember, if you put too much down it'll be too thick, and especially in an area like this where it's wet all the time with little light, it's just going to get disease, which is going to spread, and you're going to ruin your whole lawn just because you put too much seed down there. So you've been told. Alright, so we've done the seeding bits of the worm cast damage and in the corner, so we'll now get on with our granular feed, and today I'm going to use Equilibrium. Okay, so we've got our Equilibrium in the hopper, 1855 NPK with magnesium and calcium and mycorrhizae and polyhalite in there. That gives you that lovely bluey green colour, the polyhalite, but the 80% nitrogen is 50% coated, so we're going to get a nice hit straight away off the uncoated, and then the rest will kick in over the rest of the summer. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put it on 30 on the hopper today, see what happens. Nothing bad's going to happen. I'm going to water it in straight away, so I see no issues, and then we'll get on with some liquids, and then that'll be today's job done. And then in a couple of weeks we'll have a catch up and see how it looks. Alright, so we're just going to mix our liquids together. We've got Orbit, so we just need 300 mils of that, 2 mil per square metre. This is going to give us our feed that the plant produces naturally, as well as the beeswax extract in there, which is going to take advantage of the sunlight that it gets. Grace for our vitamins, just like you and me, the plant needs vitamins as well. So just stick them in. All tank mixable. And then Stella as well. Same as that, 300. So put that in. Could put 600 in, you could put a litre in, but there's no need, nothing's going to happen. Stick that in there. That's going to give us really strong roots, and then it's going to take our feed up even better. So that's all you need to do. We've already got our water in there, ready to go. Give that a good mix up, kind of agitating, mix it all together, and we're ready to go. Okay, so that's on now. Equilibrium on, Stella, Grace and Orbit on. All need washing in now, so why not, whilst we've got the water in here, everything's set up, let's get it watered in. Alright, that's well watered now. Let's go and cut the front. Okay, so I've just cut the front. It's looking not too bad considering it doesn't get much sun, especially here. Lots of necrotic growth, bit of disease knocking about as well. So I think this is next up for a renovation. So there you go, a bit of brown patch. Even got a dandelion in there which needs the dressing. On the whole, not too bad though for this time of year. In the shade as well. Let's have a look. Doing really well. That damage from where the rainfalls has gone, and I've not even touched it. It's just filled in. Over here, where birds keep doing the doodah, that's worn away, so I need to seed that area. But yeah, needs a renovation. Not done much to it since I did my last video here. Just put the usual dose of the liquids on, no granulars. So we'll get it scarified. Not as harsh as the back, it doesn't need that. And then we'll get this looking good for the winter. Leaves are starting to drop now, the spinning jennies. A few leaves off the Crimson King, the Asian Crimson King. But yeah, in a good place, it's been a good year. I'm really pleased with how this has turned out, because when you go into a job and it's in the shade, you always worry that you're not going to be able to keep it alive, but I've managed to do that here, so I'm really pleased, as you can see. And it's like this most of the time, dark, but we can get grass growing in the shade here. So what have we done today? We scalped the back, we scarified, we put some Equilibrium on, we put Grace, Orbit and Stella on. In 2 weeks that'll be a different entity altogether. Hopefully it'll be back to its best. In fact, I'm guaranteeing it will be. That's the challenge. We'll get it looking spot on, and my punishment will be I'll have to do another 20% coupon if I've not got it looking smart. So today is the 8th of August. Yesterday England ladies won on penalties in the morning against Nigeria. So it just shows you, I know that obviously that's the day yesterday. So that's just a marker for you, and yeah, so we'll see you next time.